Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to English 101 Blackboard and my writing lab. I'm going to take a little time today to introduce you to the class, give you a bit of an orientation to where things are inside of our course so that you'll feel comfortable navigating it. So all of the navigation is going to happen over here on the menu that's on the left of your screen. So you have announcements, syllabus, getting started, so forth, etc. So of course announcements, that's where all of the information that is happening in the class is going to show up. I'll also email those to you so you can check here and you can check your KCTCS email, whichever is most convenient. Below that is the syllabus tab. So the syllabus has all the course policies, the general education requirements, all of the assignments are described in the course policy, and then also included within the syllabus is a schedule. So you'll find a weekly schedule here at the very bottom of the syllabus, but I've also copied and pasted that out over under the weekly schedule tab. So, and that way you don't have to scroll all the way through the policies to get to the content for the week. So you can always come here and find your due dates and know when things are going to be required of you. We do try to stick to the schedule as much as possible. However, some semesters we do end up getting off track due to whether the class is moving a little more quickly or a little more slowly, and that's okay. So there is some wiggle room built in, but we will try to stick to this schedule as closely as possible just because that's easiest for everyone who's having multiple things they're trying to do at the same time, which is everyone. So you'll come here for that. The Getting Started tab is basically sort of the same thing as the video. It just has some background information about me. The course overview that you're watching will be there, Blackboard navigation, things to remember, and then some other links to stuff at OCTC that you may find helpful as you're working throughout the semester. So after that is course content. This is the heart of the class. All of your assignments have a specific folder here. So summary, classical, definition, causal argument, and then your My Writing Lab final exam is here under course content and not in My Writing Lab because this is an exam that I have created. So that's why you'll find it here. So I want to go through one of the folders with you. They're all organized in the same way. So there's nothing different from folder to folder. So the first thing you have is a little Pixar funny to kind of have a pickup, something to make you smile before you get into the nitty-gritty of writing argument. Following that, you'll have PowerPoints and sometimes a voice lesson that go along with the corresponding chapters in the book. So for example, it says English 101, Writing Arguments. That's what WA stands for. Chapter 4, PowerPoint. So click on that. You'll get in there. You can read through the information for Chapter 4, and then you can go and read the book, or vice versa. But I do think it's important to at least look through the book. There's a lot of great examples in the book that will help you illustrate and understand the papers. There's models in the book. There are also templates for organization for each of the arguments in the book. So you've paid money to have access to the book. It is a great tool for you to use. So the PowerPoints are useful, but I believe you will get a better experience in the class if you also include the book in your daily use. So down here is a model classical argument. So this is from a student last semester. So you can read this. It is longer than the assigned classical argument, but it was such a great example that I wanted to include it. So you can read that. There are also examples of classical argument in the text. So there's examples there, and I've included an example here. For each argument, you will submit a argument frame. So here you see the assignment for submitting the argument frame. There's a template, and then below that there is an example. Following that is an organizational structure called the Toolman schema. If you want to do that, you are welcome to it. Then there is always a argument checklist so that you can take your first draft and you can run it through this checklist, and you can go ahead and start making some changes and revising. Before you send your second draft to the tutor, you want to make sure that you have gone through this checklist for the first draft. So then the second draft is going to be sent to a Pearson tutor for review. So I'll show you where to find that. So up here under My Writing Lab, if you click on that, and you scroll down, you'll see it says My Writing Lab Pearson Tutor Services. So if you'll click there, it will launch you into the Pearson Tutor Services, and everyone has access to Pearson Tutor Services, and you have free submissions for 3 drafts. So you can use all of those up on one paper, or you can send just the second draft of your classical definition and causal, and then if the tutor says please send it back, my suggestion would be to try to make an appointment with a tutor in OCTC's Teaching and Learning Center, or you can send the paper to me and I'll answer whatever questions you have remaining after you've sent it to the tutor in Pearson. So I would encourage you not to use up all 3 of your free submissions on one paper. So that's an important thing to note. So back to course content. So you're working on the classical argument, you've done your first draft, you've looked at the check sheet, you've made some changes, you've sent it off to the Pearson tutor, you've gotten that great feedback, and you've done the revisions for that. You've either contacted the TLC or me if you still have things you're unsure about and questions that you need answered. So now you're ready to submit your final draft. Maybe you've even had a fresh pair of eyes read through the paper so that they catch those little mistakes that are so difficult for us to catch with something we've been working with for quite a while. So I would recommend, if you've never used Blackboard before, that you watch the video on how to submit a document for grading. It's just helpful if you don't know how to do that already. If you're a pro at Blackboard and you've done this multiple times, then skip the video, come down here, and this is where you'll see the assignment for the final draft of the classical argument. So when you first enter the folder, if you're like, oh, classical argument, that sounds really cool, but I'm not really sure what to do, this crazy English teacher has not given me any instructions. Please note that all of the instructions are at the bottom. They'll also be sent out to you in announcements and sent to email. So there will be multiple places to find the actual assignment. So that's just a little overview of the course content tab. There's lots of great stuff in there. So do use that. I wanted to take a moment and to show you where the e-text is. So again, under the My Writing Lab tab, if you'll go in there and you'll see maybe the 4th item in there says My Writing Arguments 11th edition. So if you click on that, this is your textbook. So you'll note that the PowerPoints correspond to chapters in the e-text. It's available to you to use if you're not receiving access to the e-text or to Pearson Tutor Services. You can let me know, or you can contact Pearson Student Support Services. But sometimes you just need to use a different browser, or you need to clear your cookies and your cache on your internet browser. So those are some of the things that have helped me as I've tried to use the ebook and the learning path. So once you get in here, you'll see that this is your textbook. Over here is your table of contents. It's divided into folders. So, but you can search up here. You can search classical argument. It will bring up every page in the book that talks about classical argument. So a lot of students really like this search feature, and you can also limit it to the different sections in the book as well. So there's lots of different ways to use this that I think will be effective for you. If you need a copy of the book, I think the bookstore does have some of those on hand. This book, in a very cool way, is included along with your tuition. If you go to the bookstore and buy a physical copy of the textbook, you will need to pay for that. So there is the savings that come along with using the e-text. So do call me or email me with any questions that you have, any problems that you're experiencing with the course. I'll try my best to clarify those. I want to make sure that everyone has a good experience and understands where things are and can navigate well. So again, just contact me and let me know if you're having troubles.